A lot of officers, LEOs go wrong. Cops, mostly police, a lot of sheriffs too, is that they say that we're on their time. The thing is when you know your rights, if it's a commercial and administrative presentation based on the blue lights and there's no emergency and they're in emergency equipment, okay, under an assumption, if it's from a call, it has to be backed up by some kind of proof ahead of time. They can't just go on a hunch because anybody could do that and say stuff, so it's bad. So, they have to understand that with people like me, we have the right to go unfettered if there's no victim created by our actions or emergency where we could be sequestered to help the police officer. So, this whole thing about like we're on their time, that is where stuff goes wrong. And you have to respect other people's times because technically I could bill the city and state and county and towns and agencies like, okay, you wasted a half an hour. I got yelled at work. Okay. And like, it could be something really simple, and to get pulled over for something and detained and all that stuff, those are chargeable offenses. And this is why you have a fee schedule. I have a fee schedule in Florida and Broward County, but you can't take those places out of the United States. You can't take Florida and North Carolina out of the United States. This is where America comes in. This is why the people of America come before the uh, amended, falsely, unlawfully, unjustly, statutes and color of law limitations that make us offenders for actually just living our life, which is the same difference between traveling and driving. But you have to have insurance and stuff like that. And, the whole thing about calling people a sovereign citizen is bad too. So, like, police have to understand that if someone is not educated and they're willing to go through that process based on the myth, okay, that your paperwork and your 16 weeks of training at 25 years old may make you, you're not my peer. I'm at 50. Okay, the Constitution has says we have a right to a fair contract. So all these things come into play too. And these are the chess pieces that I have acquired through information and communication and networking, trying to free myself from other officers making the mistake and abusing their authority and assuming jurisdiction and authority over me when there's no victim and there's no actual crime. And I stated my own standing as a citizen on patrol of myself. The whole idea of self governing Americans is that we don't have to have a Gestapo. There's no excuse or reason for it for people like me and many others because we've been here. We are honorable and diplomatic, okay, and we pay the necessary dues for things. We take the necessary steps to be responsible. And, this is why we could go ungoverned. But for us to be profiled and put under that guise and be taxed, fettered, and threatened and devastated, even killed and, robbed, and, it just doesn't do good. And if police understood this in the context that I'm putting it, instead of like, okay, well, I'm a cop and I became a cop because I could do anything I want. Like, that's not where it is. An American could do whatever they want in America as long as they don't create a victim. So, if the police officer or LEO at that point be even zoning and code enforcement as well, they become hunters and they become the attackers in that whole context. Because in the court setting, there's no emotions and ego. It's based on the facts and the fact that they're associated and claim qualified immunity and have a network in there. They block paperwork, they block process, and they offend and affect our due process, in violation. So all these things could be thrown out. And under the circumstance, we need to get to that eye to eye level. And we need to get to that family level. Like, okay, my family is my family, my cottage community. They're gonna watch out for me. I'm gonna watch out for them. And I'm not armed like that. So I think about the paperwork part because I really respect our forefathers. And like I guess I don't know a lot of specifics. Thomas Jefferson and all these people, Edison, whatever, I don't know, just Benjamin Franklin. I mean, all these people. Edison might not be, but those people right there. They thought this out because they had to. And imagine they were in a smelly tavern or a smelly bar, and They had BO. They haven't showered. Their clothes were handmade with like strings as belts. Half of that. I mean, these people were raw. They were carnal, man, and they were smarter than us because they had less distraction. Things were simple, and they made them complicated enough that we could keep them simple. And things have become very, very complicated. Like old cars in the '80s, they're under engineered and overbuilt, and now they're like over engineered and underbuilt. It's like crazy. But anyways, here there it is what it is, but like let's think about how we use each other's time and how we claim others people's time as our own, and what can we do with that so we could come to a better understanding and respect each other. Because we could both live in this world. There's going to be people that do things regardless, and there's going to be people that stop doing things that should, and there's going to be people that don't do things regardless, and then they so we have to have a respect for each group. And I am someone that figures that I'm coherent. I'm 50 years old. Okay, I've never done anything to put myself in jail or have the police come into my life whatsoever. Honestly. And like this whole context of me falling under that guise and having to pay for myself, it's hard enough with the circumstances. My work at 50 years, I've lost 15, 20 years of hard work. And people don't see that. And I'm tired now. And I lost because of that. And it is what it is. You can't tell me how to react to things when you're being threatened, when you don't know what it's like to be threatened. And I had no problems. Life was just stress free until police came in my life. And it was a bad decision to continue to keep a girlfriend and let her back in my life when she had problems with the police, but it had nothing to do with me. And the initial things that I was going through in life were just circumstantial things as an artist and being accepted in communities. And now that whole like the red and blue lights in my life thing really really construed the whole thing. And my conscience is clear and my slate is still clean. And in these circumstances, I'm fighting vigilantly for my own life and my own freedom. And there's people that want to make decisions and they want to categorize me. And I don't think it's cool. And if it is cool, it comes at a price. So I'm not doing it. You know. And that's why I got gripes. That's why my channel's got like stuff on it, but I had just got off of that. I honor and romanticize a bohemian, decent, like stress-free, political free life, than whatever environment. But like, if you look at my YouTube channels and see the old videos, there's a switch where I'm just talking about like media and movies and ideas and sunsets and birds and like on a constant and continuum. And then all of a sudden, boom, the incidents happen, and then it skews. And then every time it's a year go by and the incident, there's a trespass that's going to wear off. And I want to go to the bank in town. And it's like, okay, the car shows not even at the place where I was trespassed, and I missed like so many jobs that I could have got. And all these things, it's like, it's a constant haunting of it. And I do think that they should pay, but I'm trying to release myself. But to have to make up for lost time just because everybody else says you can't fight City Hall, like that's where I draw the line at this point, because people be speaking for me, to tell me how to speak, to tell me what's good for me, and it's just a sacrifice they make to justify their own fucking guilt, excuse me for cursing, for not pushing the limit. Dan Deacon, when I'm done dying, I'm already there. I lost, I feel, and I don't want to have resent anymore. I would like to go on and be happy without stress, but I need signification and affirmation, and it can only come in a certain way. And time is ticking. The clock is ticking for everybody. So when you mess with me, you mess with somebody different than the rest, because I'm an educated motherfucker. If you don't like it, then that's too damn bad. Because I've been from the country, rustling in the leaves to the city streets, kicking cans, okay? And I've been back and forth, and I know what it's like. I haven't been to the West Coast yet, but there's a lot of different people, a lot of different places. So, I look forward to seeing some of the West Coast. But like the whole thing is, if you see me and you see, you know, just think like, okay, you're looking through a viewfinder. Master your own view and take your focus away from me and just observe me as a sentient being, as a private, natural, traveling American man in a living flesh and flowing blood, all rights reserved, without prejudice. Thank you very much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, for which it stands one republic, indivisible, one nation under God, freedom and justice for all. I accept the Emancipation Proclamation, Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and the U.S. Constitution. Um, I'm affirmed. All rights reserved. I'm the executor to all of my accounts. And dot, 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 dot.